Hello world, welcome to Real Talk with Professor Swag, and the college football playoffs had just came out and we're going to talk about it. All right, first thing first, if you've been paying attention to college football, with the coronavirus and everything going on, it's been a little bit different and a lot of surprising teams are actually doing pretty well. But the rankings came out today to stay on topic, and the number one team is no surprise, which is Alabama. They are undefeated. They have a tough schedule, and they've been playing great, outstanding. There's no argument for that. They deserve the number one spot. Number two is Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been consistent for the last few years as far as being playoff eligible, being in the rankings. But this is the first time that they're the 2 seed, and they're doing really good. They're undefeated. They got a notable win on their record, which is Clemson, and they deserve to be the number 2 seed. Number 3 is Ohio State. They had a short play schedule so far, but from what the committee has reviewed of that team, they're at 3. And number 4 is Clemson. Clemson's only loss is to the number 2 ranked Notre Dame. Now, to get back on the topic, I'm going to explain how Oklahoma still has a chance of making the college football playoffs. All right, let's break it down for a little bit. Now, I don't have anything in front of me. I'm just talking about this, basically on the run. First thing first, all right. The SEC West leader is Alabama. And they got to play the SEC East leader, which is going to either be Georgia or Florida. And to my understanding right now, it is Florida. Florida will not make the playoffs, as you can see, even when these championships take place, because they already have too many losses. They have, I believe, 2 losses, and if they lose to Alabama, it'll be a 3rd loss, if I'm not mistaken. They might actually have 3 losses. I can't remember the exact number, but they will have too many losses to make the playoffs. A&M would be if they do have a chance of making it, but they would be a non-conference contender, and according to the committee, they weigh heavy on if you're the conference champion. So they're not completely ruled out, but if we weigh in the fact that you're a conference champion over, strength of schedule and record, that will play a part, and that will keep A&M out. Not to mention, A&M still has to get by Auburn. So Oklahoma would need Auburn to solidify that by beating A&M. And of course, Alabama is more likely going to be, can't even think of the name of the team, Florida. Now, for Alabama, whether they win or lose, they're pretty much in because of strength of schedule and the way they play all year. So whether they win or lose the SEC championship, they're in. A&M, they need a little bit of help. They need basically Alabama to win, and then they need some other things to happen outside of the conference. All right, now let's get to Clemson and Notre Dame. Clemson and Notre Dame is already more than likely gonna be the conference champion, or they're gonna be one of the contenders in the ACC championship, in which they would probably play Miami or Clemson, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if Clemson is on the Coastal Division or the Atlantic Division, but if they are in the same group with Miami, Clemson will probably be the one that Notre Dame play. Now, if Notre Dame beats out Clemson, this time around, then Clemson will have 2 losses. That doesn't completely rule out Clemson, but Oklahoma would need Notre Dame to blow them out. They would need them to beat them horribly to make them look like they're not a team worthy of being in the college football playoffs. All right. Now, Ohio State, realistically, they're probably going to beat Northwestern. They're probably going to beat Northwestern. That's just realistically. They're probably going to beat Northwestern. If anything, Oklahoma needs Ohio State to beat Northwestern, so it won't create no trouble of 2 lost teams trying to get in there. Now then you have Cincinnati, and then if Northwestern lose, they would be a 2-loss team, and they won't have a conference title. Keep that in mind. That's going to be a key thing. Then you have Cincinnati. Cincinnati is doing well. I believe they're still undefeated. I'm unsure. You would need Cincinnati to lose the conference title. You would need them to lose the conference championship. Because I believe the team that's second best already has a loss or has 2 losses. So you would have had a 1-loss team lose to a team that has 2 losses. And it's a possibility that they might even have 3 losses playing up against a team with 1 loss or maybe one, or with a team with 0 losses or maybe 1 loss. So when you start crunching these numbers in, Oklahoma is ranked at number 11. Georgia won't have a chance of getting in because they're not a conference champion. So the next best team up pretty much will be Oklahoma. What Oklahoma would have to do is win out. They have to win every single game in blowout fashion. They would have to win in blowout fashion. I mean, pretty much walk on water, no mistakes, no turnovers, like a full 2-sided game, as in the defense is on their game and the offense is on their game too. Special teams on their game. Pretty much flawless for the next 3 games. Then, not only that, in those 3 games, that 3rd game will be the conference championship, which will be against Iowa State, who is a ranked team right now. I believe Iowa State is ranked like maybe, 14, 16, the mid to high teens and low 20s. They somewhere in there. Iowa State, it was ranked, and they actually the Big 12 conference leader right now. If Oklahoma has to win that game, 1, to be the conference champion, 2, to negate the loss that they took from them earlier this season. So if all those things happen, which it is highly unlikely to happen, it is likely that Alabama will beat Florida, and possibly in convincing fashion. It is likely that it's a chance that Auburn can surprise A&M and beat them. And they could possibly beat them in convincing fashion. There is a chance that Ohio State can beat Northwestern. And actually, Oklahoma needs that to happen. And this is just so Oklahoma can squeeze in at that 4th spot. And there's a chance that Notre Dame can beat Clemson because they already did it. If they don't play Clemson, it's a chance that they could beat Miami. Either way, whoever they play, they need to beat them in convincing fashion. And whoever plays Clemson within the next 2 games or so, Oklahoma needs one of those teams to beat Clemson and to do it in convincing fashion. And it's a chance that Clemson, I believe, do Clemson play North Carolina, I believe? One of those teams, anyway, to beat them and to do it in convincing fashion. But that's how Oklahoma can actually squeeze its way back into back into the college football playoff. That's how. Because all the teams that Oklahoma lost to, they did lose to Kansas State. Kansas State did have a great season compared to last year. They actually had a pretty good season. Iowa State is having a good season. They only got like 1 conference loss on the record. And the team that they lost to that were non-conference are actually having good seasons for the most part. So it's not really, it shouldn't hurt them as much as everybody thinks. Basically, Oklahoma just has to win flawless, and they need a little bit of help from some other conferences. But it is highly likely to work in their favor. But that's my 2 cents. Thank you for watching my video. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. Have a nice day.